Welcome back to Cheddar, everyone. High Times, one of the leading voices in the cannabis movement, has been acquired and is now under new ownership. Joining us now is Adam Levin to break some more of this exclusive news right here on Cheddar. Thanks so much for joining us, Adam. High Times, we know, being acquired by this media company. How is this going to help take this company to new highs?
So I think, listen, at the end of the day, we got a great opportunity. We're really, really excited. And, you know, the brand's existed for the last 42 years under family ownership. And in this cannabis craziness and in this cannabis industry that's blooming, we're really excited that some capital behind it can really elevate the brand.
I love the pun that you did, Corey, earlier. How can this take this to new highs? This is great. Adam, let's dive in more. What do you believe that this can help you guys, and what does this do moving forward for you guys? What do you plan on doing with the new money and everything else with this?
So I think, you know, a lot of it will just be using best practices to get the brand out there. We're, you know, have more unique traffic than any other brand in the marketplace, more than Weed Maps or more than Leafly, and really taking the consumer and giving them new experiences and putting some new talent towards our entertainment brands. I see you guys are running a trailer of our cannabis cups, and we do these events all over the country. And as we continue to expand with legalization trends, there'll be more and more cups and more venues around the country and around the world.
Now, we do know that this transaction was spearheaded by Arriva Capital, which is a investment firm you founded. So exactly how does that work into now you taking over High Times and putting it into this holding company?
So I'll work as an interim CEO while we put the right team into place with High Times. And, you know, I think we have a lot of interesting things in the next 6-12 months in the High Times roadmap. And this is our first deal under the Arriva banner. And, you know, I've bought undervalued media companies throughout my career, and really excited about this. Best opportunity I've ever seen, candidly.
Well, that's really exciting. So let's talk about potential new revenue streams for you guys. What new things are you guys having on the horizon in terms of bringing in new ways of monetizing this?
So the company's dipped its toe in licensing, but I think that there's a lot of opportunity around the brand and where, you know, the cannabis industry is going today. I mean, we're the trusted brand. You know, there's not necessarily a Pepsi to the Coke in this situation. We're like the ESPN of sports, if you would, to the cannabis industry. And, you know, it's been the trusted brand for the last 20 years. It's the trusted brand today, and hopefully it's the trusted brand 20 years in the future.
Right. It seems like the move is kind of just based on the popularity of the name and what place it kind of holds in popular culture.
Right. And Adam, exactly how much, I don't think we hit on, how much was this acquisition for to bring cannabis now over into this holding company?
So the transaction was valued at $70 million, the $70 million stake. We bought a controlling interest in it as part of the transaction, and brought some of the former shareholders into the new ownership group with us, and we have a great group behind us that hopefully really innovates the brand and, you know, delivers the same experience to the loyalists who have been loyal to the brand for the last 40 years and people who are just coming to the brand for the first time.
And that's important to really note. Of course, you guys have been a magazine for 42 years, and it's kind of interesting to see, you know, how the view of cannabis and marijuana has changed over the course of all these years that, you know, this magazine has been in publication for 40 some odd years. You mentioned, of course, earlier the Cannabis Cup. Let's dive into that more. Is that going to be more expansion for you guys in terms of having this around the country?
So since we've acquired it, we're putting bigger entertainers and bigger acts behind it, and hopefully getting larger and larger crowds. We had, you know, just over 20,000 people at our last event. We have an event coming up in San Francisco and NorCal this week in Sonoma County, and then Michigan a few weeks later. So we're literally doing events all over the country and are really excited by the growth and, you know, the growth of the brand and the growth of the event space. I mean, the events are a great time.
Are there plans, Adam, you mentioned that you're doing the Cannabis Cup all across the country right here in the U.S. Are there plans to scale this to be able to take this internationally?
So the roots of the brand and roots of the cup stem to Amsterdam. So we'll probably look at going back to Amsterdam, and we're planning to go to Jamaica later this year and looking at cruise and other types of destination experiences that bring, you know, cannabis and bring travel and bring really the lifestyle culture around cannabis to the consumer and to the users.
Interesting that you noted that you would be taking the Cannabis Cup to Jamaica. Jamaica is a place that many people don't realize. Cannabis is not legal in Jamaica. Is that something that you guys look at when you're thinking about taking the Cannabis Cup to new locations?
So they look at, absolutely. We do medicinal cups for the most part right now, only medicinal cups, that where someone has to have a patient recommendation in the United States in order to partake in the cannabis or acquire cannabis at any of the cups. So same with Jamaica, you'd need a recommendation and whatnot to operate within their constraints.
And of course, you mentioned Amsterdam a little bit ago. I'm going to Amsterdam next month for my first time, and I'm very excited about it. How much also with the Cannabis Cup deals with education? I feel like there's so much. We were mentioning in one of our lowers below that now over 60% of Americans now support the legalization of marijuana. How much of this also deals with just educating the public about either the benefits or all those other things associated with this particular item?
So the brand stretches out into, really an advocacy brand. It served as a journalism piece that, reported as a journalistic figure on cannabis, but more than anything, really as an advocacy on legalization and the benefits of it. So within that comes the education piece, and we're looking at a lot of different ways to educate the consumer as the trusted brand in different courses that can be for bud tenders and whatnot that states are now requiring. And so as you see the regulatory environments take change and start to change, it will be looking at how High Times can take a seat and take an active role in that as well.
What other verticals are you guys looking to get into after this acquisition that you haven't tapped into yet?
So we're going to look to stabilize High Times and really put the right team in, and then look at little extensions. I think, if you look at counterculture media, I think media has just been an onslaught, from traditional publications. I mean, media companies are having a tough time these days. But you take companies like High Times and like Cannabis Cup, and it's a unique situation in that you have this events business that's growing, and cannabis obviously is the sector, one of the fastest growing sectors in our country today. And that provides the opportunity. So I think there's some other opportunities in the media horizons like that we've looked at, and we're looking to bring into the fold.
All right, there we have it. Adam Levin, the CEO of High Times Holding Company. Congratulations, and thank you again for joining us.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys, that's going to do